onboarding. How do you onboard new employees without burdening your teams? If you're an employer, you've probably wondered how to onboard new employees so that others don't have to spend too much time helping them get up to speed. And there are some people who seem to need constant training. What should you do in such cases? The situation is simple if you don't have too many orders at the moment, but if you have a lot of them and at the same time you need to onboard new employees, your current staff won't have enough time to do their own work, which leads to delays and possibly contractual penalties for not completing tasks on time. So what should you do about it? And believe me, as your virtual employee, I'll give you a very simple method you can use to significantly streamline this onboarding process. Are you wondering how? Stay with me until the end, because if you don't, you'll miss out on the most valuable gem, the most important piece of information. Let's begin by exploring the crucial reasons why you absolutely need to onboard new employees quickly and efficiently, all without unduly overburdening your existing team members. Maybe in your company there's a revolving door and employees pass through it so quickly that you can't actually manage to train anyone. How does it happen that new employees get trained and then leave for another company where they get a better salary, better pay, and maybe the law in your country doesn't allow you to simply sign a loyalty agreement with them? And what should you do in such a situation? First of all, let me tell you that if you do this, you're paying twice, as I already mentioned in the previous video. Why? Because let's say you have to pay for 160 hours or maybe 200 hours to onboard a new employee, and your current employee who is already permanently employed with you and has a steady job, you have to pay them for those 200 hours as well, and you also have to pay the new employee for those same 200 hours. As a result, there is only one job done, but you pay twice. And if your company has a revolving door, then in reality you're constantly paying double. What is the absurdity of this management? That you think you're looking for cheap employees, but in reality you could give a raise to those who are with you permanently, and then you wouldn't need to keep onboarding new employees. And why am I telling you this? Because the employee who is already with you might be working much faster than if you hired and trained a new one. And now, what am I going to tell you? In one company, there was a policy that every employee automatically received a €100 monthly raise to their salary every year. What was the result of this? People stopped leaving because why would they look for a new job? Did it pay off for the company? Of course it did. Why? Because an employee, year after year, I know they might occasionally have some challenging days, but generally speaking, they only become more efficient and productive precisely because they accumulate more valuable experience, which invariably allows them to perform their job tasks much faster and with greater proficiency. They already know where everything is in your company, so you can confidently give them more, which means they won't leave for a new company and you won't have to onboard new employees. However, if you do have to onboard new employees, I recommend you start recording videos. I know. Yes, you've forbidden the use of phones in your company because people might spy on you. Maybe they'll share it online, maybe they'll just show it to a competing company that will steal your idea. Really? And you think that just because you have such a policy in your company, employees aren't secretly recording anyway? Of course they are. But why am I telling you this? Because if you create something even just based on what your employees prepare, of course, it's best if you reward them properly for it, rather than just expecting it from them. And if you do reward them appropriately, they might start preparing videos for you on how certain tasks should be done. Once you have a complete set of such videos, you can hire a video editor to create proper courses and use them to train your employees. If you have these videos available to the entire company, just think about it if everyone in your company has internal access to them. Imagine that each instructional video is only an hour long, but you have 200 employees. Believe me, that's several salaries saved. Why? Because it's the video that does the work, not your employees, and the video doesn't take sick leave. It doesn't have bad days. It doesn't complain. And thanks to that, your employee can watch the video at a time that's convenient for them and just watch how your company starts to flourish again like a beautiful flower. I also warmly invite you to my Dream Boss course, where I discuss various management absurdity situations where employers think they're doing the right thing, but in reality, for example, end up losing twice as much, such as with employee turnover, or even in cases where all it takes is recording a simple instructional video. Of course, this will take a bit of time, but if you can afford new employees, you can definitely afford video editing. And thanks to this, if you also give your employee a proper salary to train others through video, you'll soon see what kind of savings will appear in your company. And if you want even more savings, I warmly invite you to my course. You absolutely have to check it out because there I discuss many seemingly obvious things that any of your employees would tell you, but you probably don't have time to talk to any of them. That's why it's a good idea for you to just have a virtual chat with me every day over coffee. Because this course isn't strictly about training you, but rather about showing you the motivational buttons from an employee's perspective so that they'll be satisfied and at the same time you'll get motivation from them. And if my video or my advice about recording videos turned out to be helpful, I kindly ask you to give it a like, share it, and show your friends and employers that they can manage their company in a completely new way. This way, profits will return to their business instead of losses, and employees will be more satisfied with their work.